I am back.
Yay, Emma's back.
I'm back. I've returned to the podcast you're currently listening to, which is Legal Trouble. I am Emma Davy, freshly returned from my coup. Uh, we have we have Kai over here. Hello, Kai.
Yeah, how'd that coup go?
I mean, based on what you've seen in the news, obviously not super well, but that's fine. This is it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Yeah,
So we'll get back at it.
you'll get him eventually.
Well, again, yeah, okay. So it's been a minute, but here we are figuring
Yep.
it out, podcasting.
We'll get to practice. No fucking idea if everything's going okay, but we're gonna do it. And if it doesn't work, then fuck it, we'll do it again.
Hey, yeah. Well, the good news is it's been worse in the past, right? So,
Probably.
yeah,
I mean, you're calling that before we know how bad this is gonna be, but it's fine.
that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, never mind. I take that back before I before I jinx this entire thing.
Anyways, sure it'll be fine. All right, it's been a while, so my kind of lead up to this is maybe not as current as it could have been, but today I'm going to tell you a story that it covers a lot of time, but it's very relevant to the most recent news about. I mean, this is our first episode since Charlie Kirk was shot and killed,
Yeah, yeah.
even though that was like a month ago now.
Yeah. I mean, in the news cycle, you'd think it's been years, but yeah.
That's true. And yet we still don't know all that much. The fallout has been extremely chaotic. I'm not going to expand like too much on that story, as I'm sure it would be redundant to the
You've got
millions of hours of.
everyone's take is out there already. You don't need
Exactly.
ours.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But, suffice to say that everybody has their own thoughts about it and about who the shooter was. Like the right wing immediately said, like, this is a trans person, and like the left wing people on Blue Sky really thought it was a groiper who's like, groypers are the followers of Nick Fuentes, who's a white supremacist shithead,
Okay.
whatever. Um,
The
we
two
now,
genders, those are your options. Yeah.
yes, groiper
Trans women
and
and
trans.
groypers.
Uh, so whatever. Now we know, probably allegedly, that the shooter is Tyler Robinson, but we don't know much about them. They have a roommate who he might be in a relationship with, who might be trans, and he might have texted a confession to. All of those things heavily doubted by online conspiracy brains.
Yeah. Yet to be verified or proven.
Yeah. I'm agnostic about everything, kind of because it doesn't matter, but also just because today I'm going to tell you a story that kind of bolsters my feelings of agnosticism in stories like these, because
Yeah.
when all the facts come out, it's likely that the answer will simply be that this person is complicated. They're just
Oh, shocking.
just a human being with a bunch of weird, incongruous things,
Intersecting
you know.
uh
Uh,
experiences. Yeah.
so today I'm going to tell you something a little bit like that. The story of
I
another
just
very,
I also love that lead up. Like today we're gonna talk about a complicated human being.
very complicated human being, and that complicated human being was the leader of a white supremacist group of bank robbers called the Aryan Republican Army.
Oh, oh my God. I know nothing about this. This is incredible. Okay.
You might have heard of them a little bit. They existed back when white supremacists were much scarier personally and much less scary politically.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, this is just a disaster.
Yeah. Didn't necessarily have the same amount of power, but would absolutely just fucking kill you.
Oh yeah, these dipshits were definitely violent maniacs. Uh, but I don't think they had very good Vegas odds on toppling the United States government to replace it with a white Christian ethno state. Sadly, Nick Fuentes has like a non-zero chance at this point. So,
It's getting closer than I'd like it to be. Yeah.
yeah, it's hopefully he's less than 50%, but he's on the board.
He's getting again, it's going up with each passing day, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is not a story about these groups, but it's about an individual. So, let's get started on that. In 1958, Peter Kevin Langan was born in Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands, which is a territory of the United States in the South Pacific.
I'm
Langan's,
so glad you did that because I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
I mean, it's not like I knew where Saipan was before, I
Perfect.
would have been like Vietnam, I don't know. Yeah. So Langan's father was in all likelihood in the CIA. Uh, CIA doesn't confirm who works for them, but like everybody in the family says that's true, so probably
Yeah,
true.
wink, wink.
Um, and Langan's first memories are of living in Vietnam in the early 60s, which is, it's a pretty wild place to grow up.
And especially in the 60s, I feel like it was yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, particularly in the 60s, Vietnam, so like they're pretty well off there, his dad being in the CIA, or at the very least like in
Allegedly.
American, I think he worked for USAID, but that's just a CIA front. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're pretty well off there, they've got like servants and shit, but also like it's Vietnam in the 60s. So there's riots and there's bombings and stuff like that.
A little tense, yeah.
It's yeah, it's exciting. And his dad is a former military and is still like a real military guy. One source saying that he had ranks in his family,
Oh God.
which
Oh
strikes me
no.
as insane.
That is insane. But you know what? I appreciate that he's laying it all on the table too. He's not being like, I love you all equally. He's like, no, 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 no. This is the system. This is the ranking. This is the power you have.
I don't think they were necessarily ranked by how much he loved them, but it's like, no, you're like you set the table or I'll bust you back down to private so fast your head will spin, like
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love you all
amen.
equally, but he's the captain and you're the fucking private.
And we'll see. And earn your way up and maybe he'll treat you different.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I picture it anyways. It's I'm not sure. No matter what it is, if you've got ranks in your family, you're insane. But
It's bonkers no matter what.
um but yeah, Pete he looked up to his father and would imagine him like going off on secret missions against the Viet Cong, which is
Yeah.
probably true in some sense. I have no idea what his dad was doing, but that's kind of the gist of it, working
Give
for American intelligence in Vietnam in the 60s. Like, yeah,
Yeah, circumstantial evidence indicates that that could very much be happening.
he probably wasn't fighting Germany or whatever.
If he was, not from an efficient place.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, so I think he aimed to live up to his father's stature. I'm not really sure if Pete was like a natural leader, but at any rate, that's the role he always took. Like I don't know if there's a difference there, but like he's somebody who naturally wanted to be in the leader role. So like when he was playing with his friends, pretending to go fight the Viet Cong, like Pete is the general or Pete is the captain or whatever,
Yeah.
he just takes that role, and then later would do so in the Aryan Republican Army.
Hmm. That's nice. Very entrepreneurial spirit. That's good.
Yeah, well, or at least just a leader. Um, Entrepreneurial kind of implies that he made a lot of money in business. I don't think
I mean, I guess bank robbing doesn't count.
that he did make a lot of money in bank robbing. That is true.
Okay.
We'll ask the judges whether that counts as an entrepreneur.
But he's got a good go get him attitude.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna work my way up.
Yeah. Um, so the family moved back to Wheaton, Maryland in the United States when Pete was 6, but then his father dies of a heart attack 3 years later when Pete's 9. This seems to be at least part of what sets little Pete off to a life of crime, sort of trying to be tough like his father, but without the structure that his father had been imposing. Like same level of
Yes.
machismo, I guess you'd call it. Um, by age 12, he's kind of like a leftist hippie. Sews peace signs on an army jacket, steals the copy of Abby Hoffman's
Yeah.
book, Steal This Book. You
Yeah.
know that book, right?
Yeah. Weirdly rule abiding, at least as far as the book goes, but
Yeah. Um, Pete gets caught joyriding a car when he's 12, and for that he gets sent to military school, which he goes AWOL from that. So he's
yeah.
an incorrigible child. Like clearly doesn't give a shit about the rules. He's on his own path now.
Mm-mm.
Um, Gets mixed up in, drugs, whatever, other dumb shit, and drops out of grade 10 to go live in the woods, which I say good move.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, sounds admirable. Okay.
Yeah, fuck high school. The woods are where it's at.
Fucking right. Yeah. You think you can do it, go for it. I'm not
Apparently,
gonna stop you.
Apparently, one time Pete and a friend are casing cars to steal in a parking lot, and like a cop comes up to investigate. But Langan kind of gets the drop on him and pulls a gun and tells him he's under arrest. Like the
Ooh.
kid like puts the cop under arrest and handcuffs
Yep.
him, and then takes
Oh.
his cop car and joyrides with it, and somehow he gets away with this.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that because that sounds like a steep crime to commit.
Yeah, I guess we don't have proof that happened, but it seems to be kind of like family mythology, like in whatever source I was reading, it sounded like that story came from like a sibling or something. So,
Okay.
um,
Well, certainly, yeah. True or not, it certainly seems at least plausible at this point in time.
yeah. But at any rate, whether whether that even happened or not, like clearly this is not somebody you'd call risk averse. They are
Mm-mm.
living pretty extreme already, and
Diving straight for every risk. Yeah. Risk seeking, risk desiring, risk required.
yeah, some might say self-destructive. Uh,
Some might. Let's wait till see if he gets destroyed, though.
so by age 16, Langan is down in Florida, robbing people to survive. Uh,
Yeah.
his first criminal conviction is in 1974 for robbing a man of $78. For this robbery, he takes a bullet in the hand when fleeing police, which is
Oh,
already crazy.
yes.
I don't know if he shot at police first or something, but I don't think so. So the cops shoot a 16-year-old mugger in the hand, and then the
Holy shit.
judge sentences him to up to 20 years. A 16-year-old for one robbery. I don't know.
I should have
Take-
stayed in the woods, man.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, he probably was living in the woods in Florida, let's be honest.
Actually, yeah, yeah, the woods would still
$78 doesn't really pay rent anywhere.
certainly not nowadays. Yeah. Okay, so it's like up to 20 years. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a 16-year-old. Um, I don't know what there was in terms of like a minimum, but at any rate, he served 5 years of those. Um,
Felt
now,
like
Emma,
only
did you
20.
listen to the last episode that Brian was on?
Sure did.
So,
And I learned that incarcerating and punishing children makes them better.
yes, that's
Great.
exactly what that episode was about.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was about how awesome incarceration makes children.
Yeah, it turns them
Uh,
into really good, well-adjusted adults.
yes. No, it was why you shouldn't do that, and a big part of why you shouldn't do that is because of the potential to make them so much worse as a result. And Langan is
Yes.
a very good example of this. To quote the Washington Post, quote, Langan was raised in a household where the N-word wasn't uttered. His parents, Scottish and Irish, respected other cultures. During holiday open houses, a Langan family tradition, Hispanics, Asians, and blacks came to call. After 5 years in prison, Pete emerged as a racial separatist.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, pretty stark
That
dividing
really,
line from nothing about his family was racist. He grew up in a Asian country. He knew other people. 5 years in prison, white nationalist.
yeah, general racist to you.
Yeah, he goes to prison as a fuck up who will rob you for $80, and he comes out of prison a fuck up who's going to try to bring down the Jewish controlled satanic multicultural system.
Oh, that would imagine those talks in prison. Wow,
Imagine what?
those talks. Imagine those conversations.
Oh yeah, I mean, from what
Got
I
nothing else to
understand,
do.
the Aryan nations is kind of a big thing in prison, so I imagine there's no shortage of people who want to tell you about the Jewish cabal or whatever.
I was gonna say, yeah, the Jewish state of the globalists. Cool. All right.
Um, but yeah, I guess that goal of taking down the government is still a ways off, but the ideology is there now. Um,
Yes.
throughout the 80s, Langan kind of
He's aggressively he's super racist if nothing else.
yes.
We've laid that groundwork.
This is a big part of yeah, a lot of these people, I think it just becomes almost like their hobby, like it's what interests them, is what, and fair enough. A lot of people on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever, like their hobby is being like angrily leftist, and like, okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Like,
sure.
yes, politics is a pastime or an obsession or whatever, but that's his, white supremacy.
Yeah, like again, some people it's macrame, you know?
Sure, and you can combine the two as well. You can proselytizing.
That's just crochet a clan hood.
Yeah, cozy.
Yeah. So cozy, so comfortable, so warm, easy to clean.
Anyways, throughout the 80s, Langan kind of floats around. He gets married, he has a kid, gets divorced. He goes to live with his sister in Ohio and tries to work like normal handyman jobs, but can't really cut it. Just doesn't, never really builds a life anywhere.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it doesn't seem like he's putting a lot of roots down anywhere.
no, not really. But he does reunite with a childhood friend, Richard Guthrie. They would ride motorcycles and talk about white survival and all that horse shit. Friends.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking as buds being pals.
Yeah. It's also said that Langan stockpiled 10,000 rounds of ammunition at a girlfriend's house. But from
Oh.
what I can tell about the United States, that's only like slightly unusual. I don't know.
I also, you know what, this is being so Canadian. I cannot fathom like what amount of space 10,000 rounds of ammunition takes up.
Yeah, is it like $10,000 where it's way less than you think it'll be, or is it like a
Yeah,
room in your house devoted to it? I don't know.
that's it. Like I'm basically, and I'm like, because my immediate instinct is like, how the fuck do you walk in your apartment with 10,000 rounds of ammunition? However, yeah, it could just be that could all fit into a fucking briefcase because I live in a country with strict gun control, so I don't know much about this shit. So
American listeners, please write in. How many thousand rounds of ammunition do you have at your house?
yeah, and how much space does it take up? You know,
Yeah, legaltroublepod@gmail.com.
do you sit on it like a couch? I don't know.
Ooh, that's, yeah, thrifty.
See, yeah, use it. So okay, all right.
Yeah. So, also in the 80s, Langan converted to Mormonism at some point. I'm not sure if they stayed Mormon, but the bigger thing is that they got involved in the Christian identity movement. Do you know about the Christian identity movement at all?
I do, to the best of my knowledge, I do not know about the Christian identity movement.
Yeah. Just briefly, Christian identity, I'm sure you've heard of it in some stuff we've both listened to, but
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say like I'm sure I've encountered it, but I don't know it by that particular name.
yeah. So just briefly, Christian identity is a very weird ideology that started because some crazy guy in the UK thought that British people were a lost tribe of Israel, like a lost tribe of Jewish people.
Okay,
And that's called British Israelism. And it's not explicitly anti-Semitic. It's like, yeah, you guys are Jews, but we're also Jews, and it's awesome that we're all Jews, like the
and we're
guy
all Jews
the guy was just
together.
out of his mind.
Okay,
But this
but
got
at least he's trying to form friendship,
yeah, sure, maybe. I
making
don't I don't
connections,
really
making
know.
community. Okay.
But at any rate, this got like mutated and imported over to the United States as Christian identity, which is much more anti-Semitic. And it basically says white people are the chosen people, Jewish people are actually Satan's children, and
Oh,
people of color are like a first draft of whites. So it's incredibly explicitly racist. And
oh yeah, that's really bad.
yeah,
That's a
and
bad take to have.
and yeah, that is at least present in many American white supremacist groups. Actually, when I was writing about this, I was reminded of the Sovereign Citizens episode, and with my interview of Donald Nedlitsky and how he explained how like some of these ideas are like a biological pathogen, like they mutate as they move from one group to another, so that it
And
can like
adapt.
it can fit the new group better. And it's like, well, Christian identity was imported to the States by Nazis, and they changed it to be like a Nazi thing. And,
Yeah.
and now, because of sort of the non, what do you call it? Like the decentralized nature of the American white supremacist movement, like it's just a little bit in all of them. Like it's everywhere, but
It
it's
just
like
is.
it's not a church. Like there's no leader of Christian identity. It's just like an idea that's kind of ever present in white supremacy in the States now, which is
That
weird
makes
because it's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean that makes I mean, and this is because like I feel like that's kind of some of that is baked into the essence of Mormonism too, is it not?
No, I
No?
mean, racism is,
Okay, there we go. Just I want to make sure I slander the Mormons correctly.
but Christian identity came along way later than Mormonism did.
Okay.
So it couldn't have possibly been there for the beginning, right? Like it's
Okay.
very much a 20th century thing, I think. I think.
Okay. Again, whatever you say is gospel. So
Yeah.
this is an absolute truth.
I am the law.
Yeah, you imagine. Okay, yeah. So Christian identity, yeah. So I feel like, as I said, I feel like I am aware of the the vibe of it.
Yes. So yeah, he gets involved with all that stuff along with Guthrie. But the serious bank robbery doesn't start for a bit. I assume they pulled some small robberies before the first one we know about, but probably nothing big because the first one that we know about is that in 1992, Guthrie and Langan robbed a Pizza Hut in Georgia.
That's the big one. That's what they worked their way up to.
No, I'm saying that they can't have worked their way that much up to this. Like they they must have robbed things before this, but this is
Like
the
a
first
lemonade
job we know
stand.
about. And
Okay.
it's funny, my source is like this puny small-time job netted them each only $900. But I'm kind of impressed they got 1,800 bucks out of a Pizza Hut
Dude, yeah, I'd take $900.
in 1992. That's fucking good.
Dude, yeah, that's like $1 million, man. Fuck. Wow.
Good job, guys. You don't make it
Yeah,
in the big leagues without playing some T-ball, you know?
right? Pizza Hut makes that much money? Damn.
I don't fucking know. In Georgia in 1992, I guess. Pizza Hut was very big in the 90s.
It's
You
true.
know,
I remember ads for it everywhere.
it was my favorite shit.
The build your own they had the dessert bar, build
Oh
your own
yeah.
thing.
The ice
Yeah.
cream bar thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not totally clear on how this happened, but the next year Langan is caught for this great Pizza Hut heist.
Oh,
Or
takes a
maybe
whole year to get to.
he gets caught immediately and this is just when the story picks back up. I'm not sure. My sources on this are like news articles from the 90s. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But anyways, the next year around like August, Langan is facing that robbery charge with his record and plus a weapons charge he's wanted for in Ohio. So
That's
he's
bad.
looking at like life in prison.
Yeah.
But Guthrie had got away. And because Guthrie got away, Langan gets an absolute stroke of luck.
Oh,
Because apparently Guthrie, brilliant white nationalist that he was, had made threats against the life of George H.W. Bush during the campaign that year.
okay.
Bush had been campaigning in Georgia around the time of the Pizza Hut heist. And I
Oh,
guess he just,
yeah.
I don't know, mailed in a death threat or something.
Shit.
Uh, and for some reason, even though George H.W. Bush lost that election and it was like a year later, I guess the Secret Service still cared. Um, it sounds strange to me. I don't know. Um, and it's very strange because they care enough about that to basically get Langan out scot-free as long as Langan agrees to look for Guthrie for them.
Oh, shit. They're like, you're free to go, but we need your help finding this guy who wrote this mean note a year ago.
Yes.
Damn.
They spring him out. They get him up to Cincinnati and they pay for a phone to be installed in his house so that he can try and find Guthrie. And then they just like check in with him every once in a while.
Hey, you find him yet?
It's a very
Okay.
very stupid plan.
Yeah, okay, we'll call you Thursday. We'll just check in. No, nothing yet? Okay. All right. Well, have a good weekend. We'll check in next time. Okay.
Yeah. Um Somehow Langan manages to weasel his way out of this incredible trap they have him in by just fucking leaving.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, he
Yes.
just disappears.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do in that situation. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be like, "What? Bye.
it's
Why
like
not?"
there's no internet or cell phones. You just fucking leave, and they'll never find you again.
Yeah, back to the woods.
Exactly.
Okay. See you later.
So he just disappears, but he does actually find Guthrie. He just finds him on his own.
And then presumably does not report him.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was thinking like this must have been like the Secret Service B team. Like, this is who you get if you were a one-term president. Like somebody's dumbass nephew needs a job and they're just like, "Yeah, you can look after Jimmy Carter. Have fun."
Have fun. Here you go. We got a death threat. You want to deal
Yeah.
with that? Fine.
Yeah, you
Here you
don't
go.
even protect him. You look into year-old death threats against him.
Yeah. Just don't bother me till it's done.
Yeah, anyways, the two are reunited, both on the run from the law and both rabid white supremacists. So
Yeah, romantic. Cute. They found each other.
this is when they start the Aryan Republican Army and they begin a spree of bank robberies to fund their white separatist cause.
Sure.
Uh,
It's just two of them. Okay.
no, the ARA is at least six guys. That's who I think got arrested with a few more known associates, of course, but
Okay.
because the white power movement is so decentralized, like there's like hundreds of tiny groups all capable of operating mostly independently.
Okay.
So one arrest like this can't really bring it down, but like there's all these links, you know, the most famous of which is they might be linked to Timothy McVeigh.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, there's a chance McVeigh robbed a bank or two with them, and there's a chance that they funded his bombing. Langan says no because he has so many relatives that work in government buildings. He's just like, I wouldn't have done that specifically, but like, how much can you trust him, you know?
I don't. Yeah, I fucking don't. This guy's word? No. Also, that's a cooler story if it's how it ties into Timothy McVeigh. So that's what I'm going to choose to believe.
But yeah, so this group of bank robbers specifically is it's funny. They take a lot from two pieces of media. One is, of course, the Turner Diaries.
Mhm.
I'm sure you're aware of the Turner Diaries, but for those that don't know, the Turner Diaries is a graphic novel depicting the life of a terrorist in a terrorist cell in a successful overthrow of multicultural society, complete with mass lynchings of people in interracial relationships, forced marches out of the country, shit like that. It's so fucked up that, of course, I'm interested in reading it, but it is actually illegal in Canada.
I've not seen it or read it. I'm aware of it, but
Yeah, I think maybe I've seen a screenshot or two, and I've heard some people like describe pages from it, and it's fucking horrific. But um,
but these guys got it. Lucky them.
oh yeah, you can just buy it at any gun show in the States. Like
Of course.
it's illegal in Canada. It's very legal in the States. Like fucking
Yes.
Stephen Miller definitely owns a copy,
Yeah. That's yeah.
allegedly.
Here's your Turner Diaries. Here's your 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Welcome to America. Have a great
Yeah,
day.
I was thinking like, and maybe there is, I don't know, but like I do wish there was some way to read it as like a casual researcher in Canada. Like I wish like you could just go to like a Holocaust museum or a museum of tolerance or whatever, and you can go and you can read the Turner Diaries while a guard watches you,
Yes,
and if you smile, he tases you.
immediately.
You must frown the entire time, but you can read it for research.
You can absolutely read it. Yeah, if you seem to have any joy, though, taser right to the neck. Zzz. Yeah,
Yes.
and then afterwards, you go through 6 hours of deprogramming.
Just a very kind person being like, and what did we learn about why that isn't good? And if you
Yeah,
say
I'm gonna have
anything
you
good
write
about
an
it, it's
essay
probably
on why what you read was bad. Okay, and maybe what we should do instead. Thank you.
I suggest doing not that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thank
No,
you. Have a good day.
no armed overthrow of multicultural society.
Or
So yeah.
any for that matter.
Hmm?
I said, or any overthrowing. Don't.
It's-
Ooh.
unfortunately, I'm not going to go with you on that one. Given given where
It's the
politics is going these
multiculturalism.
days, there
That's
are,
fine.
you know, some people need to be overthrown. For example, if the Turner Diaries happens, I would like to overthrow the society that exists after it and replace it with
Mm,
the first
mm.
one.
No, it's the specificity of overthrowing the multicultural government.
Yes, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Actually, I hope he doesn't mind, but the last guest, Brian, that was one of his kind of like throwaway jokes when I used to do stand up with him is like singing that song War, and it went, War, huh, what is it good for? Sometimes stopping Hitler.
Sometimes it is.
You know, it's the way she goes.
It too can
Uh,
be complicated.
anyways, so the Turner Diaries is the most influential piece of white nationalist propaganda besides Mein Kampf. And it's just one of the connections between the ARA and Timothy McVeigh because he loved the fucking Turner Diaries and
Nice.
did the Oklahoma bombing in 1995. And yeah, in my script, this is just where I say it's suspected that the ARA might have helped fund that, but there's no solid evidence. We don't know that for sure. Um,
That's to think about.
Timothy McVeigh took his plan for a terrorist truck bombing almost directly from the Turner Diaries. The
Oh,
ARA took something, well, I'm sure they took many things, but they took something a bit goofier. They took the advice of pretending to be Hispanic or foreign during their operations or bank robberies to, I guess, implicate Mexicans or heighten racial tensions or whatever. And that's why Pete Langan's name as the leader of the Aryan Republican Army was Commander Pedro.
oh, oh, oh.
They would scream things in horrible accents during bank robberies, like "Andale, andale, dinero," shit like that.
Oh, God. Did it work?
Um, I don't know. Like the bank robberies were successful. I don't know if it worked in like
And
making
everyone was
bank
like,
employees hate the Mexicans. I definitely don't have
that
research on that. I hope
Commander Pedro really left a bad taste in my mouth.
not.
I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, I really can't stress enough how much this is just like if frat guys decided to become revolutionaries. Like
Yes.
they are scary terrorists, but they are also just like young dipshits who like joking around. And probably the best example of that is that besides the Turner Diaries, the other piece of media that really influenced them was Point Break.
Oh,
They only live to get radical.
oh my God. I love that movie. I don't like that that's coming in here now.
Yeah, but that movie is about a group of bank robbers
Yeah,
who
I guess
are
when you put it that
young
way.
shithead men.
Yeah.
But it also turns out to have like some good bank robbing tips. Um,
I guess I didn't pick up on those because I was there for the surfing. Okay.
yeah.
So I can learn a lot from that. I gotta rewatch this shit.
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about bank security, but I'm assuming it's different than it was in the 90s. Maybe not, but yeah, they would operate sort of like they did in the movie, which is as a small team, and you don't go for the safe. You're wearing masks and shit. One person watches the door with a stopwatch, calling out the time, while two people empty out cash drawers, and they aim to be out in 90 seconds.
Wow.
So you don't go for big scores. You're just looking for 10, $20,000 maybe, and
Yep.
then you're
In
out.
and out.
They would wear costumes, including sometimes actually wearing the president masks from Point Break, like the Nixon and the
Oh,
JFK.
oh, yeah. When life imitates art, beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I this is
There was one heist that happened in December. Langan wore a Santa suit and left behind a pipe bomb in a Santa hat, shouting "Ho ho ho, Merry
oh,
Christmas!"
kind of cute, except for the pipe bomb.
Yeah, I mean, they left pipe bombs behind a lot just to delay people. The bombs, to my knowledge, never went off and actually becomes a bit of an interesting legal side issue that
Oh,
Langan appealed on later about, and I didn't spend enough time on this, but I'm going to try. Um, I think he appealed whether he could be fully charged with the bomb since he says they were meant to be inert. They were supposed to be decoys. And the evidence was a bit destroyed because the bomb squad like kind of blows a bomb. I guess this bomb squad or back then or whatever, they would kind of blow a bomb apart with like fire retardant material or something like that.
okay.
But then you have the pieces, and an expert testifies at trial like this may have been made poorly, and it may have been made like to not actually explode, but all the parts of a real bomb are there.
This was shitty on purpose.
So
Yeah,
even if you didn't intend it to explode, it might have exploded if you dropped it too hard. So we're going to say this was a real bomb.
we're gonna err on the side of bomb, you
Yeah.
idiots. Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a interesting side quest of legal issues here. Um, oh, hello.
Sorry. Yeah, this is. Oh,
The cat has
yep.
joined
Obligatory,
the Zoom.
uh, obligatory cat interruption of a Zoom call.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be one of our episodes without it.
Nope.
Um, so yeah, anyways, they're being jokers. They're being funny with it. You know, they got costumes, they got
They're
props and
having a
shit.
laugh.
Uh,
They're just
yep.
prop comics having a good time.
Goddamn Carrot Top Robin Banks. Um, they also like to taunt the feds. Like sometimes they would wear FBI or ATF jackets. Remember that all these people hate the ATF because of Waco in '94.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay, so
so
right on
yeah,
that.
and they would like write into newspaper. One time they nominated FBI agent Jim Nelson for an award for honesty and patriotism. My source didn't say an award where, but they nominated him as a
That's
joke.
nice. That's
They would write letters and cartoons and stuff and put them into newspapers. They would call themselves the Midwestern Bank Bandits, and they said they appointed Agent Nelson as their spokesman.
oh, that's nice.
Um, so yeah, just taunting the agents looking for them, kind of saying like, "Hey, we know
Just
your names.
really ribbing them.
We know your names. You don't know ours." Haha.
No. LOL.
Yeah. Um, They also produced a propaganda recruitment video that's like almost 2 hours long, I think, called "The Aryan Republican Army Presents the Armed Struggle Underground," uh, with a
2 hours. Oh my
yeah, with
God.
a label on it, like the parental advisory thing that says "Warning: Extreme Hate."
Oh, actually?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing how many of these people like actually accept the term hate. They're like, "Yes, we are a hate group. We hate these
Correct.
people."
Yeah, I am full of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the founder of the American Nazi Party, George Lincoln Rockwell, had a like a an American tour on what he called the hate bus. You know, when everybody had the love bus,
Hmm.
VW buses going around, love bus. Right? He's like, this is the hate bus. We're going around
This is
saying
my
fuck you.
fuck you. This is my hate bus.
Yeah, motherfucker. Um, but anyways, yeah. So they make this propaganda recruitment video, and I'm going to quote the Washington Post here describing it. It says, "quote the video quote unspools like an overly long Saturday Night Live sketch. It's interrupted by phony commercials for Blammo ammo and Second Chance body armor. At times wearing a gas mask, waving a pistol, and displaying his gang's plunder." 50 and $100 bills stuffed in mason jars. Pedro issues pronouncements in fractured Spanish, while minions in military garb goose step to his desk.
Oh
It would be
God.
great parody if it weren't so rabidly racist. The ARA member's adolescent sense of humor camouflages a dead serious brand of anti-government, anti-black, and anti-Semitic spew.
Ooh.
So, I mean, you can definitely see a line between that and like Nick Fuentes kind of shit, where it's like, yeah, these are like shithead frat guys who just happen to be just insanely hateful, violent maniacs.
Yeah. They're just channeling the dim-wittery into the hate.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, despite the fact that they were pretty goofy, they did successfully rob 22 banks and they pulled in about $250,000 over 2 years. And
That's not bad.
they were serious about their mission. This money went back into getting equipment, weapons, safe houses, fake IDs, shit like that. They weren't buying luxuries with it. They were really trying to do
What?
a revolution, all six of them or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you gotta pay the editor on the videos too. They're doing it themselves. What am I talking about? What am I talking about?
um, but yeah, anyways, the area's downfall turned out to be Guthrie. In a bit of irony, Guthrie
Oh yeah.
did not repay the favor to Langan. Supposedly, what happened is the group kicked him out, or at least stopped bringing him on robberies because he was getting too erratic. And somehow he was too wild even for Langan, or maybe just too dumb. Because for all Langan, for all Langan's faults, Langan is actually kind of smart. You know, they had a
Yeah.
fucked up life, but like they're a lot more well read than the average white supremacist sort of thing.
Oh, that's okay.
Um, but yeah, Guthrie's just a fucking idiot, and they're like, you're getting to be a liability, so they stop bringing him on robberies, and then Guthrie, being an erratic motherfucker, tries to keep robbing banks by himself, and he quickly gets caught
Proving her point.
in 1996, and he,
Immediately squeals.
he immediately turns in Langan because he is
Yeah.
not nearly as slippery as Langan was, being able to
Yeah.
walk out the front door.
I'll tell you anything.
So yeah, he tells the feds where Langan is. They surround his house and wait for him to leave, so that there's not a whole Waco thing again.
We're not, that went badly. Let's not do that again.
Yeah. But I guess they kind of do a mini version of it where they also wait for him to get into his truck and then they surround his truck. So
Oh,
Langan's in his truck and he dives behind into the back to take cover behind a toolbox. Uh, and then agents say they swear they see him go for a gun or hear a shot. And then they fucking try and light him up. Uh,
just blast it. Yeah.
and yeah, so insert the Danny DeVito. And so I start blasting.
I sound
Um,
blasted.
Forensics would later show that Langan did not fire at all, so that's awesome. Officers
Mhm.
just shoot a whole
Still,
bunch at this person.
yeah, still a
Uh,
bad thing to do. Don't do it.
but I guess Langan's lucky. They made it out with only some scrapes. The worst of which was like a piece of felt got lodged in his cheek.
Oh,
Like a shotgun blast had like kicked up a piece of fabric and lodged it in his cheek. But like for getting shot at by a bunch of officers, that's not bad.
yeah, felt in the cheek sounds pretty bearable, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah. Um, So Langan goes into custody and has to get medically checked out, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
being shot and all. But
Yes.
this is where the story becomes very unique. Because when they were checking Langan out, it was noticed that Langan had long hair dyed red, had shaved all their pubes, and had painted their toenails pink.
Okay. Hmm.
And this is the point where I will apologize. This whole time I have been misgendering and dead naming Donna Langan.
Oh, a criminal. I see. You, not the.
Yes. Apologies to anyone who takes a real hardline stance on dead naming or whatever. I think it's fine for storytelling, you know.
Yes.
I like having a reveal like that. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Yes, this insane white supremacist terrorist was living a double life and is now a trans woman in prison. Uh,
That's right. Yeah, just
so
just to prove that anyone can be a piece of shit. That's just a reminder.
yeah, sort of, but at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, it's more that's why I kind of like open this up with like it's complicated, you know,
Hmm.
because she also says like, well, a big reason that she was acting so destructively was because she was closeted. So it's like it kind of feeds into each other.
Into that one then, right?
Um, but anyways, yeah, from this point forward, I will not say Donna's previous name. Maybe I would say Commander Pedro, but
That's great. Well, this is, it's just nice if somebody's like, "Are you white supremacist or are you just secretly trans?"
could be both. I mean, they're
Start asking those questions. If you're a white supremacist, maybe just ask that question to yourself a little bit, see how you feel.
Are you sure you're not just like really into something you don't want to be into?
Yeah, that could be it. Maybe you just gotta be who you are, and you'll spend less time robbing banks, so that way you can overthrow the government.
Yeah. And then you start robbing banks so that you can overthrow the government in favor of trans people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. See, there we go.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, anyways, I assure you all of my sources from the 90s are a hell of a lot less woke than me when it comes to misgendering people and using preferred nouns. It was quite difficult to figure out what was going on at one point that I'll tell you about very shortly. But yeah, anyways, this whole time Donna had been dealing with gender dysphoria, or
Yeah.
as it was known at the time, gender identity disorder.
Oh
And
yeah.
presumably this had been kept secret from the Aryan Republican Army. But she wasn't completely in the closet. She'd attended a few meetings of the group Crossdressers and Friends in Kansas City, which
Cute.
sounds incredibly progressive for Kansas City back in the 90s. But
That's great. And friends. I love that.
yeah, Crossdressers and
That's
Friends.
cross-dressers and friends. Cute.
Yeah, and she met a transgender man named Mishka Alexander Jackson. Uh, that's the thing that I needed to like look into because in my main source, uh, Jackson was named as his female name
Yes.
and also referred to as a woman. And then I had to go like check for context on like what they were talking about when they said like this person's also a cross-dresser or also a transsexual. And it's just like, okay, and then I like looked up, it's like, okay, they're wearing a suit and tie, so it's an FTM thing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're just like, but in what which cross dressing? Just just so we can picture what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, completely the wrong pronoun for everybody at all times when doing journalism in
Yeah.
1996.
Yep.
Anyways, Mishka Alexander Jackson and Donna Langan sort of get married in 1995.
Okay.
Uh, Probably not legally married, but they had rings. Actually, maybe legally married, since I guess it is one female and one male. So maybe it was a legal marriage.
Yeah, that's legal,
Yeah,
romantic,
it's not important. But anyways,
protecting the sanctity of marriage. I love that.
all that to say, she wasn't completely closeted. It must have been just a double life or something. Um, but there's this wild scene, or at least wild to everybody at the time, where Langan, on trial as this like male white supremacist terrorist bank robber, has a biologically female person dressed in a suit and tie come to the trial and then have an emotional outburst when the guards won't let him talk to his wife. That's what she yelled
Oh,
out. They won't let me talk to my wife, and everybody in court's just like, did that lady in a suit just call the Nazi dude her wife?
you're like, what's happening here?
Which is still interesting today, but more for the Nazi part than the transgender part. But like,
Yes. Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the bad part about this.
I mean, it's just interesting, and like none of the sources I read seem to be being like overtly cruel, but they're all just kind of terrible about misgendering because like it was ages before like gender diverse paper were so well known. Like it
Yeah.
was it was such a curiosity, it was just treated as a
Yeah.
curious, like, hey, isn't this fucking weird, you know?
Yeah, check out these weirdos. Yeah, well, and like all the language would have been like incredibly like medical. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have the kind of way of talking about it that we do now as well.
Yeah, I mean, partly medical, partly just outdated, partly
Yeah.
just nobody gave a shit about pronouns at all. Like
No.
it really wasn't a thing anybody talked about before 2010. Like it, it certainly existed, but like fucking newspapers weren't going to have a style guide about it. Like,
Yeah, and it's been downhill ever since.
um, well, everybody
Yeah.
seems mad about it.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, kind of treated it as a curiosity, not too mean. And obviously in some sense I too am treating it as a curiosity just because of, it's definitely interesting that Donna
Yeah.
Langan was a fucking Nazi or that a Nazi was a trans person. Uh, but it's just interesting because people are complicated,
Yes.
not because of any sort of transphobia or anything, obviously. Um, but yeah, anyways, Donna Langan is found guilty of a bunch of shit related to the
Yeah.
bank robberies, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
never be released from prison. I believe she got 3 life sentences plus 30 years or something like that. The States is fucking stupid.
That's a long time.
Just
That's
say
a lot
life
of life
without parole.
sentences.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting because there's this sort of big reveal that, hey, you've got your trans kids shirts
I
on.
am wearing my protect trans kids shirt. So again, to further complicate the narrative, this is great.
Yeah, and I'm wearing my Pew 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 shirt, which is, just a band that I like. Uh,
There you go.
anyways, yeah, so it's interesting. There's this big reveal, and it sets up like this dividing line in her story where almost nothing that happened up to this point has anything to do with anything that happens after this point.
Oh,
And it seems to be kind of like when she's outed, I suppose. So, I mean, make of that what you will. I'm not sure if she started living full time as Donna right away, but we do know that she spent 18 years housed in men's prison,
ugh.
and that at least a lot of the time she was at least sort of living as a woman there, as much as you can in men's prison, I guess. Uh,
Yep.
it's present in some court documents I read that she had gender identity disorder, as it was called at the time,
Right.
since she was like trying to lessen culpability or be placed in a psychiatric facility, things of that nature. So, she was out with it on legal documents like well before she ever moved to a woman's prison.
Okay.
Um, both of those failed. She didn't get to go to a psychiatric facility just for having gender dysphoria, but oh well, nice try.
Oh well, bless her for trying.
Yeah, they're like, they can handle this in regular prison. Off you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like no. They
Yeah,
got you covered
you
there.
know, it's not really the same as being wildly schizophrenic or whatever.
No.
Um, but yeah, at any rate, those judgments are just sort of proof that at some point, early on into her sentence, she was already, admitting this is part of her life.
Yeah.
And
Hey, this is me. Yeah.
I am not an expert on the subject, but I would say, at least as far as I know, she is probably the most famous trans prisoner in the world, at least in the States, because she has been involved in a lot of high profile, like legal battles about trans rights in prison. Um, and it's a bit annoying from a research standpoint because outside of her legal fights and her advocacy for trans rights, she's kind of a private person.
Okay.
Um, we know that she has denounced her past white supremacist views and that
Great.
she
I was.
she does attribute her behavior to sort of like lashing out or trying to perform masculinity, but there's not like a large record of stuff she said or done about that. Like most articles just have like a line like she's disavowed her past views and now we're going to talk about what's going on in the news, you know?
Yeah. Moving
'Cause
on.
she's in the news for like actual like fights about trans rights. She's not in the news about like what's white supremacy up to these days.
Yeah. Just checking in. Still hate people. Nice.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, she's just like no, and then they talk about something else.
Moving on.
But I'll go through some of the news that she's been in over the last 15, 20 years. I guess mostly just the last 11 years. So yeah, she spent 18 years in men's prison, and then in 2014, after a legal battle with the Obama administration, Donna was finally moved to a women's prison.
Okay.
Uh, I think that the issue of trans people in prison is probably second only to trans women in sports when it comes to like those wedge issues that the right can attack for
Yes.
for good reason because those are like the two aspects of life where like self-identification isn't enough. Like yes, it's all well and good to use the correct pronouns for somebody if they ask you to, but like in sports and in prison, there's enough stakes that like regulatory bodies can be pretty justified in saying like you should probably take hormones for a while.
Just before we do that,
You
let's
can't
just.
just lie and like get into a nicer prison or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. We just.
you
You
know.
know. We already
Um,
said no to the psychiatric one, so we'll try. We'll try this one. We'll
I was
try
talking
this.
more about like the ability of people to actually lie, which is like the right wing will harp on, like everybody's just gonna lie to play women's sports or whatever. But like it's so fucking frustrating because like no, that's why regulatory bodies will just say, ah, you got to be on hormones for 3 years or whatever. You
Yeah.
can't just be jacked and bearded and go to a women's prison and start punching people. You know,
Yeah. 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 Just being
you
like,
got to
all
walk the
right,
walk a little bit.
all right, ladies, here
But
I am.
the right wing people just kind of take the fact that there is anything to talk about there and they just say like well because of that and then just like reams of transphobia.
Right. Yes.
it,
Yes.
it's I guess what a wedge issue is, right? Like there's just a seam of something you do need to talk about and they use it to pry their way in like
Into
a
everything.
you know like a something no metaphor found in brain.
I mean, like a wedge. Doesn't that already count?
Like yeah, right, like a wedge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think metaphor's built into the name.
Yeah, thank you. That is
You're welcome.
correct.
You're smarter than you think you are.
But yeah, anyways, Donna gets the right to move in 2014, and this is probably directly related to a law called the Prison Rape Elimination Act, which
Okay.
sounds good, right? And it,
Yeah, it sounds like an admirable thing to stand behind.
yeah, and yeah, it passed unanimously in 2003 because who's really gonna vote against that?
Yeah, yeah. Like, no, I love the prison rape. Let's keep it as it
Actually,
is.
yeah, if you tried to pass that today, it would get shot down by the Republicans.
Yeah, yeah. But again, oh god, that's so grim. Um, yeah. Okay, let's go back to the a nicer time.
Yes, the nicer time under George W. Bush. Uh,
Yeah, back when he was the worst.
yeah. Anyways, so this law doesn't actually say anything about trans rights, but it does order a commission to study the problem and then provide standards to the Bureau of Prison. Because you can't just pass a law saying like no rape in prison. Like that was already on the books. This is a law
Yeah,
about like, well, how do we actually get rid of it?
it was already bad. Now we need to do something.
Yeah. So, they get a study and the study provides whatever. And as with a lot of things in the law, that takes fucking forever. But the standards are drafted in 2009 and then the Prison Bureau implements them in 2012. And those
Okay.
standards, I think, actually do mention things about trans people and, specifically as it ties to the likelihood of being raped, which is, you know, probably not always, but like certainly that is probably one of the most likely people on earth to be raped is a trans woman in a men's jail.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable fear to have.
So, you know, at that point it is considered cruel and unusual punishment, at least in, some cases where people are, X far along in their transition or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so she was moved in 2014, but then in 2017 there was a lawsuit in the other direction.
Oh,
Three cis female inmates at the Federal Medical Center Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas, which is where Donna Langan was. They filed suit against the government saying it is gender discrimination and cruel and unusual punishment to house them with trans prisoners.
oh, okay.
Um, Probably not a coincidence that this lawsuit was filed after Trump won, because obviously his administration was a fuck of a lot more transphobic than Obama's, more likely to
Sure,
be
sure was.
more likely to be on board with whatever you want in that. Even though as the government they were the defendants. But the plaintiffs are a real band of weirdos too. The lead plaintiff, Rhonda Fleming, is a black Republican woman who was in prison for running a multi-million-dollar Medicaid fraud scam.
Oh,
A
oh,
lot going on there.
yeah, that's a
Uh,
lot.
I guess she was known for filing a lot of frivolous lawsuits from prison. So I guess that was
Oh,
just
I
one of the
run as
ones
a
she passed through.
hobby. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Um, but Fleming was actually at odds with the other two plaintiffs for pretty good reasons, I would say. One is that they were working with the Alliance Defending Freedom, which of course is a right-wing group that hates freedom and
Yep.
loves Trump. Um,
Yeah.
So Fleming's kind of like, okay, we're all on the same side here, but you guys are basically working with the Trump administration, who are the defendants in this case. Like that is a conflict of interest in some sense. And the other reason Fleming didn't like them is that they were represented by a lawyer who was also incarcerated for sexually exploiting her own daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
Cannot be said enough that every accusation is a confession from these motherfuckers.
yeah. 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 Okay.
Also,
Oh,
I had no idea that you could still literally practice law behind bars. That rocks. You know,
yeah. Yeah, yes.
maybe she wasn't being paid. I don't know, but yeah,
I,
I assume you get disbarred for sexual exploitation of your own daughter, but what do I know?
yeah. This is. I mean, I am truly flabbergasted thinking about this. This is not the point of the story, but okay. So he's
Yeah,
practicing law.
yeah, and
Okay.
I don't
Fair
know
enough.
much more about it, but other than it's a weird situation, and
That's a wild little tidbit to know.
yeah, and it's strange for Langan as well because even though they're like the subject of that lawsuit, they aren't actually parties to it. Like it's a lawsuit between Fleming and the other two and the government.
And the government, yeah, it's like this
Langan's
kind of.
just like the topic of the day. Um, Interested party, I guess you'd say. Um, but yeah, like the actual lawsuit was technically between transphobic inmates and a transphobic administration. So they both basically agreed, like, yeah, let's move them.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds great. Get
Yeah.
them out of here.
But of course, you still had laws and regulations and stuff. So even though they kind of agreed on that, it's a long process, but Donna is not moved back because the Prison Rape Elimination Act still exists, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit of a long process, and I'm also unsure whether every trans inmate was protected. Like when a judge is like, no, you can't do this. because like the Trump administration was definitely trying to like tighten the restrictions on it and make it very difficult for trans people to be housed with their own gender.
Yeah.
But at any rate, Donna made it through that one. Uh, I believe judges shut that down because the Prison Rape Elimination Act wasn't repealed. So like reversing a move made under those guidelines couldn't just be arbitrary. Like you need a reason other than just like
To
we
do
hate
that.
them.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's
Fuck
you
them.
can start with that, but you got to back it up with more.
Yeah. It's the Dave Chappelle. Why? Because fuck them. That's why.
That's why.
Oh, I was such a good lawyer. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. So yeah, since 2017, Donna has also been involved in legal battles with the Trump and Biden administration over gender affirming care. Uh, Despite advocates and medical professionals being pretty clear that gender affirming care is part of normal health care and should be
Yep.
made available to prisoners the
Sure
same
should
way
be.
as any other care,
Yep.
which is to say, not very well, but you'll get it eventually. You know,
I mean, as good as you can get in prison, but at least
yeah,
like it's on the to-do list.
exactly. It's not put below any other sort of medical need, just because some people think it's optional or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, even though supposedly it's supposed to be on the same level as any other thing. Gender confirmation surgery has been almost non-existent within the federal prison system.
Okay.
I should mention here, everything I'm talking about is the federal prison system. Each state is going to have its own standards, its own history regarding trans inmates. So, um, Donna Langan is the first uh, trans woman to get gender confirmation surgery in federal prison.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she's the first one. Like I assume some person just in a California prison got one ages ago. But federally, Donna Langan
She's
gets it in 2022, and she's the
she's
first,
our gal.
not actually the first one to win in court to get it, but I don't know, the other one got delayed or something. So Donna sneaks in once
Sure.
again as like the news story
Yeah.
about it. Like I said, somehow she's just like always been the person in the news about
The
trans
gal.
rights in prison. Um,
Wow.
Maybe just because she used to be a white supremacist, and that's a great fucking slug for your story, right? Yeah. Spices it up a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually that makes the again that adds to the salaciousness of the entire story. So why not?
Yeah. Um, but of course, the right used her surgery as a talking point in the
Yes.
2024 election
Yeah,
to attack
absolutely.
Biden and Harris, saying blah blah blah. Like this evil
This is
Democratic
the
Party, they're giving money for elective surgery to mentally ill
yeah.
Nazis instead of giving money to Peter Thiel's
They're
blood bank
transing
or
the
whatever.
illegal aliens in prison. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they should give that money to us instead.
Yeah. We got so
Um,
much dumb shit to spend it on.
yeah, and like I doubt that was the determining factor in the election, but it was at least one of the things I saw them harping about, just because they're dicks.
Yep.
And of course, Trump won election again and immediately started his war on everyone again,
Yes.
including trans prisoners. So in
Yeah.
2025, Donna Langan was informed she'd be moved back to men's prison due to an executive order from Trump moving every federal prison to a facility matching their biological gender.
Fuck.
Now, a judge blocked that pending the obvious lawsuit,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately only issued an injunction for the plaintiffs. So other trans inmates may have still been moved. It's not entirely clear to me. This topic doesn't get super widespread coverage, and also a lot of the time the names I think are off, so you kind of have to just like assume Donna Langan is part of it somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. How
but
long is she? I know that we've got all the dates and stuff, but at this point, how long has she been in the women's prisons for? Like a
uh,
decade?
11-ish years, 2014
Yeah,
to
yeah.
2025, yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, at any rate, Trump has been repeatedly shot down by Justice Lamberth, who I guess has control of this case. They're a Reagan appointed judge, but seem to be a
Ooh.
good person, very dedicated to the rule of law and separation of powers and all that. And basically, just
Oh.
when Trump tries to blanket deny all gender affirming care, Lamberth basically just says "fuck off." Like, there's no good reason to do that, and you're not a king. But it's an ongoing
Dang.
fight.
Ah,
And So yeah, not only is he trying to like move the people in women's prison, but also just trying to deny gender affirming care to all trans prisoners. And like, here's the thing, almost all of gender affirming care in prison is taking place in prisons of that inmate's biological gender.
Yeah.
According to an article in Politico from June of this year, the number of trans people in federal prisons is about 2,230,
Yeah.
and the number of trans women who are actually in women's prison is 16.
Yeah, yeah. It's up there with the like trans women in sports too. It's like we're talking about 12 people, you guys.
Yeah, it's such a vanishingly small fraction. Like, I mean, even the 2,000 is a pretty small fraction of who's in prison, and then of that, it's only 16. Like, it's a
Yeah.
fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
In America too. In
Yeah,
America.
where they have 7 trillion prisoners.
Yeah, they got more people in prison than the population of our entire fucking country. So the fact that only 2,000 are trans and only 16 of them are living in, if we're talking about trans women in women's prisons,
Yeah, I think it's like
that's
16 women and like nine men or something like that, you know?
okay, great,
Uh,
perfect. So like maybe we got 30 people. This is yeah, like it's
yeah, not
it's
even.
a vanishingly small percentage of the entire prison population.
Yeah, but even though it's basically nobody, like they just love targeting trans women because it gets the base all hot and bothered.
Sure fucking do.
Yeah. So as far as I know, Donna Langan has actually managed to stay in women's prison, but I can't actually say that for sure. And if she is still there, I don't actually know how long she'll hold on through these legal fights because, like, the Trump administration is obviously going to keep trying because
They're doing a
they
real good job
love
of
this
wearing
shit.
people down.
Um, And yeah, I'm sure this story is not finished yet, but at any rate, I figured it was a good human story to remind people that everybody's human. Weird shit happens, you know, like people are politically very eclectic and odd.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just so, just wait for shit to shake out. I'm sure every story will be more interesting than you could even come up with in your conspiracy brain. Um, But also, I'm looking forward to continuing to follow what happens with Donna Langan. I hope she gets to stay in women's prison because she is like basically fully fucking transitioned now. Like, uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, and I will end with a quote from her from the 2017 story from the Dallas News when the other inmates were suing her. Quote, I've tried over the years to be a better person, mostly by letting go of my old attitude and ideas about race and religion, Langan said. Quote, someone does not choose to be transgender. It is not a lifestyle. My not being able to deal with it myself led me down a path of self destruction. My only possible redemption is to complete my transition. To send me away to male prison will surely be the end of me.
Oh,
And yeah, it's so weird because she's so fucking crazy, but at the same time, like I genuinely am rooting for her now, you know?
I am too, adding to the complication of it, right?
Hmm.
Uh, because
So that's the story. What do you think? Are you
I
gonna
mean,
fix all the
I
problems?
too, yeah, I mean, I too am looking and interested in updates and things like that as well, as that goes. Um, I mean, sure, like on the outside of this too, this does seem like an example of somebody who has reformed through the justice system.
Yeah, and absolutely never getting out of prison anyways, so you kind of just
No,
gotta make the best of it, even if she hadn't reformed or whatever, It's-
yeah,
you're not gonna be making propaganda videos from prison, so you might
yeah,
as well not abuse them, you know. That's the thing. If she was still an avowed white supremacist, she still shouldn't be moved back to a men's prison. Maybe I would care less, but it's still the right thing to do to keep her in her own like gender prison.
oh, 100. I mean, I do believe incarcerated people should still be treated as human beings. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I do believe they should still have rights as human beings, even if I think what you've done is truly wild.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I like so much about like the Anders Breivik thing in Norway. He's the guy who like shot a whole bunch of fucking kids,
Yeah.
as opposed to like the American style of justice. The Americans very much are like, well, you fucked up, so now we get to do whatever the fuck we want to you because fuck you. Whereas
Yeah.
the Nordics are like, we are going to take this as an example to show you why we're better than you.
I'm gonna have you write an
We're going to
essay on
treat
what
you
you should
very
have done
nicely
instead. Yes.
because you did not do that to other people. You can't leave here, but we'll still feed you and shit. Like you still
Yeah.
get a window.
Yeah. Also, like, what if she goes back to the men's prison and just becomes a fucking white supremacist again? That's what happened the first time.
I mean, I'm sure there's white supremacists in women's prison. I don't fucking know.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that at all.
Yeah. But
Uh,
at any rate, keep up the good fight, Donna Langan.
yeah. Well, and the other thing too is knowing that the attack on pardon, let's start over again on that one. The whole thing to me also in trying to move her to a men's prison is about the completely it's a completely arbitrary way to just broadly punish trans people, right? Like it has nothing, like it is nothing to do with what she's actually doing, what presence she actually has in the women's prison or whatever, right? Like it clearly just is this principle of like, we think trans people are weird and we're just gonna pretend that they don't exist.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. It's definitely ideological, but it's
Yes.
kind of hard to pin down what their ideology is because they will say like, well, it's just about being like realistic about what biology is, and it's like, motherfucker, how many of you actually give a shit about biology? Um,
Dude, yes.
so yeah, it's just I don't know. It's about like norms or something where it's just like they think it's weird and it's a, like a useful scapegoat. Like I said, it riles up the base. It gets them all hot and bothered to think like, oh, these people have done something that's like against nature or whatever. And it's like
They've
it's
done
16
something that I
people.
think
Shut
is
the fuck up.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and let them be weird. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, well,
There's
that's
other things to think about.
dude. There's so many people do weird stuff all the goddamn time,
Yeah,
and I don't. It doesn't affect me at
just
all.
you
Be
know,
weird. See what I fucking care.
yeah. Anyways, um, yeah, I have no more to say on this topic. Fuck Nazis.
What? Yeah.
And
Fuck white supremacists. I'm glad she, was able to move beyond those incredibly self-described hateful beliefs.
yeah, hopefully someday she gets to go and surf that big wave like
Ooh.
oh, what's his name? Fucking
Yeah.
no, not Keanu. Banger, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
That's the end of that movie, right? Patrick Swayze goes off to surf the biggest wave ever, and it's just assumed the wave will kill him, but like the alternative is going into custody. So
So we'll take the wave, baby.
yeah, I hope she gets a dramatic exit like that. But no, she'll probably just die in prison at the age of 80 or whatever.
Yeah, just real anticlimactic. But okay, but in the meantime, yeah, I will because I've not been super worthy stories, so I'm gonna keep an eye out for that, and I'm sure you'll have updates too as well to share.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the size of the updates, there's maybe I'll start doing every once in a while like a little roundup, like stuff like Lucy Letby, that nurse in the UK. Like I want to do an update on her, but it might be like an entire
Yes.
episode, or it might be like 5 minutes. So
Okay.
who knows? Maybe I'll start doing little roundups, or just doing update episodes of their own. But
Cool.
yeah, anyways, Emma, thanks very much for being on here.
Thank you so much.
Um,
Worth
if
leaving a
you,
coup over.
yeah, you'll get them next time. You just got
That's
to rob a
okay.
few more banks to fund that cause, you know?
I just need to keep at it. I'm going to rewatch Point Break because
Yeah.
then I'm going to remember how to properly rob a bank.
That's the skeleton key to your entire overthrow of the government. Um, if you have just robbed a bank and you have some extra money lying around and you'd like me to do more episodes more often, you can go to our Patreon and throw some of that money at me. That might
Yep.
incentivize me.
Do it.
Patreon.com/legal trouble. Otherwise, you can follow me on Blue Sky, Legal Trouble Pod, or Emma James Tattoo or something like that on Instagram.
Yep, yeah, exactly. EmmaJames.tattoo or EJ.Davy. I haven't been on that in a while though, so don't be surprised if I got it wrong.
All that shit. You can look into it. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody, and we'll see you
Yeah.
next time. Podcast over. Bye.
Bye.